The South African Union of Students is calling on Higher Education Minister Nzimande to address its NSFAS concerns urgently. The union says the financial aid scheme is in a state of collapse, with thousands of students having gone months without receiving their allowances. It's given Nzimande a deadline to respond and is threatened to demonstrate and approach the presidency to assist. I'm joined now by the spokesperson of the union, that's Asive Dlanjwa. Asive, good afternoon. Welcome to today, and thank you very much for your time. It's a very strong statement that you've issued that I've had an opportunity to read ahead of this interview. You ended off by saying if nothing is done, you want the minister to be removed. That's basically where you are headed unless this problem is resolved. Can we start there? I mean, what are the key problems here with NSFAS?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to you, Putin, and to your viewers and listeners. The reality is that the scheme is facing collapse. It is in fact in a brink of collapse, in fact in a brink of total collapse. There seems to be nothing that is working at the scheme. The scheme has a primary mandate to fund the students of the poor and the working class. It has failed to do so from month to month on a continuous basis. Not only has it failed to provide students with their allowances while they are writing their exams so that they can have food and the necessary necessities, it would appear that the board is failing to hold the executive to account. In fact, it has been under the watch of the board that we are seeing this state of collapse. As I'm speaking with you right now, Putin, applications have not opened for NSFAS for the 2024 academic year. This is absolutely unprecedented. And I can tell you, not because I'm a prophet, but because this is where things are going, that come next year, January, February, we are going to have a state of instability and chaos across the country because of these failures of NSFAS. It can be that up until today, applications have still not opened. It can be that up until today, thousands of students, their funding challenges have still not been adjudicated, those that had appealed last year. So this is the state that we are facing at NSFAS. We have also seen, yes.
Yeah, so it's, in your words, it's virtually in a state of collapse. That's the scheme because of failures to deliver on the mandate, as you've explained. Do you have a sense of why is NSFAS failing to fund the students? Why are they failing to address issues from last year? Why have they not yet opened applications for 2024?
It is unfortunate because even if you ask them these questions, they will not give you answers. What is clear is that there is no leadership. There is no leadership at the level of the board. There is no leadership at the executive level. And what is even more frightening is that the staff complement of NSFAS is absolutely incompetent. These are all things that the minister is aware of, but the minister has done nothing about these things. We have been speaking to the minister regarding these things, and nothing has been done. It is collapsing under his watch. There is really no reasonable justification as to why these things have not happened. NSFAS did not begin its operations in January. NSFAS has been in existence since almost since the dawn of democracy. It can be that they are failing to carry out a very, very basic mandate. So it is clear that the sector has slipped through the fingers of the minister. However, we are giving the minister a few days, as we have stated in our statement, to turn the situation around at the scheme. And failure to do so, the minister must go. Because in all honesty, besides NSFAS, it's just that this interview is not for that. There are many things in the sector that are going wrong. Institutions, some institutions in a deplorable state, universities, and the minister is doing nothing about these things.
Okay.
So we are giving the minister a few days.
Yeah. So in your statement, you are giving the minister this 4 things you are highlighting, which you've spoken about. Firstly, the board. You feel that the board, as you've said, is not providing effective oversight. You want Minister Nzimande to resolve this. You're giving him 14 days from the date of your statement, which is today. You're also giving him 14 days to address the issues of operational executive leadership. So at the leadership level, you're giving him 2 weeks to do so. Have you written to the minister about this directly, asking him to resolve the leadership issues at the oversight level and at the operational level over the next 2 weeks?
Yes, we have, since last night, we wrote it to the minister. We also wrote it to NSFAS, over and above the fact that in many encounters with the minister, we have stressed these issues. But as per our statement and the directives that we give there, we have written to the ministers of last night and to NSFAS regarding some of these issues.
And then you've given them, in your statement, you are giving him 7 days, a shorter period, to resolve the issues of funding, particularly for next year, the opening of applications. You're saying you've got a week to do this, and then also to make sure that students who have not been receiving their allowances should be paid in the next week. How confident are you that this will be done, having painted this dire picture of a lack of leadership?
You see, if that does not happen, you see the timelines that we are giving, unfortunately, they are not sensational. They are based on what we understand to be the needs of the students and the needs of the country. If we give the minister longer than 7 days to pay students, by the time he pays students, it will be Christmas. Students would have finished writing their exams. They would have finished writing their entire exams on empty stomach, homeless, without the necessary necessities. So that's why we give him. So it's based on the needs of the students. So, and the issue also of the applications, we appreciate that if applications are not open within the next 7 days, we are guaranteed to have a pandemonium moving forward and into the year. Unfortunately, it's not based, we can't base this on their incompetence. We must base this on the needs of the country, this demand. And failure to do so, it will then be clear to the president and the nation at large that the minister and his friends are not having the requisite capacity to ensure that the sector is run in the manner in which it should, such that we are able to avert all a crisis in the country.
And you say if this doesn't happen, you're going to mobilize progressive student and civil organizations to join you in a petition calling for the head of Minister Nzimande.
Yes, we are very clear with that. In fact, that lobbying will be one of the easiest lobbying we have done, because many progressive organizations have written to us, including some institutions who have said to us that the minister is failing the sector. So we are going to lobby them to petition the president of the country to relieve him of his duties as soon as possible, because it would be clear that a ministry presided over by Dr. Nzimande in January can only lead us to a state of crisis. You must be aware also, Buden, that it is an election year next year, meaning that it will be a crazy season. We don't want to create a situation for opportunists who would otherwise want to create chaos in the country to use the failures of the ministry to cause a crisis across the country for whatever political agenda they might have, inspired by elections. This is across the political spectrum, by the way. So this is why we need to ensure that over and above the crazy period of elections, our institutions must not be playgrounds. They must be orderly. There must be stability. This is why we have to ensure that if the minister does not solve these things now, it is clear that the minister will plunge us into a pandemonium come next year.
Thank you very much, Asive Dlanjwa. Speaking on behalf of the South African Union of Students, having lots of misgivings about the state of affairs at NSFAS and making some clear demands, and also saying if the Minister of Higher Education, Dr. Nzimande, does not resolve these issues, they will write to the President asking him to fire the minister.